It is being called by some the first social media war. Ukrainians at home and abroad fighting back online against Russia and their crazy propaganda and disinformation. Civilians have been posting videos on how to make Molotov cocktails, block roads, and even drive tanks. And Ukrainian President Zelensky has been leading the charge. According to our friend Stephen L. Miller at The Spectator, quote, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky has been particularly adept at using social media to his advantage in the new digital age. Wars will be fought not only on the ground or with drones, but on Twitter. The question, will it work? Here with me now, the author of Those Words, Versus Media podcast host, and contributing editor at The Spectator, Stephen L. Miller. Welcome back to the show, Graham. Good to see you.
Hi, Kennedy.
Hi. So is Ukraine going to meme Russia to death?
They're trying, and they're doing a really, really good job of it. If you look at kind of some of the Ukrainian official accounts, just posting memes, just kind of, just doing plain shit posts and everything else, you're seeing kind of a change of a generation. And when I said social media war, people, on the other part of the world brought up Syria, but that was not a nation state invading another democratic nation state. That was a civil war. And I'm not really referencing clips going out and, things being uploaded to YouTube. I'm kind of talking about how someone like Zelensky, who's in his mid-40s, he's kind of around our age, he's a world leader who knows how to use these platforms because this is where the conversation's happening. And you still get people like CNN's Brian Stelter saying, well, no, people are still turning into cable news to get their information, and that's just simply not true. We're seeing Zelensky on the ground taking videos of him and his cabinet like a bunch of boys out on the night for some drinks or something like that. And so he's exceptionally adept at using these platforms because he knows that that's where the audience is, and he's just a younger guy. He's better at using these things than Putin or Biden or, any one of these dinosaurs sitting behind a desk. And
people who have only consumed war through cable networks, like this one, which I love, and I'm happy you're here, they don't understand how people consume information on social media because, believe it or not, kids do talk about this stuff. They do talk about foreign affairs. They talk about what's happening in the world, and they get a lot of their information on TikTok, and that's where people are sharing videos and the Molotov cocktail recipes, and that's where you're seeing things because it is an important distinction, and the sharing element of it is very different and the interaction than just watching something in real time. We've been doing that for a couple decades now, but it is the way that people are being emotionally galvanized and also given information that they can use to thwart the enemy with the tools that they've got at their disposal. It's almost like a MacGyver war. It's almost like they're using rudimentary items in order to face down an opponent that is supposed to be one of the strongest on the planet. And then, you've got people like the little old lady that I love who's carrying seeds, and she told the Russian soldiers, so at least sunflowers will grow when you die. So they do have lovely large huevos in Ukraine.
Yeah, and I think that they know that there's also a propaganda aspect to this, and this is the problem with not having a very trustworthy corporate media, which is we don't really know what to believe when we hear stories about a Ukrainian fighter jet called the Ghost of Kyiv taking down MiGs, and everyone just kind of trends that on Twitter before anyone stops to confirm it. There's obviously the soldiers at Snake Island, and I'm not saying that those were being used by the Ukrainian government or the Russian government as propaganda, but at this point it's just an urban myth, doesn't spread from town to town via a newspaper in Poland. It spreads instantly around the world on these social media platforms, and it makes it hard to kind of discern where this information comes from, how should we use it. But more importantly, like I said, Zelensky he's a new kind of breed of president where he's on the ground, he's showing you just via his cell phone. He's not kind of standing behind the desk, in a bunker hiding Justin Trudeau. He's out in the streets and he's showing people what's happening.
What do you think the better contrast is? Is it Zelensky versus Biden or Zelensky versus Trudeau?
Oh, I don't know. It's interesting. I know Trump was asked, would you stay and fight for your country, and he kind of hem and hawed around that.
Man.
So
Yeah.
I don't really know. I think it's just an age thing. Zelensky's, he's a big tough guy, and he's in his mid-40s.
I think he's a little tough guy.
He was kind of written off in the. Well, yeah, I mean, he's short, but he's probably the toughest short guy on the planet, if we're being honest.
Wow, Stephen, well said. And that is why you use your tongue prettier than a $20 whore. Stephen L. Miller, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kennedy.